Okay, hello there. Welcome to another podcast. If you've been following the Road in Nazareth touch, you realise this is the second podcast I've done this week, and there's another one planned for this week. So that's all I'm doing this week is these podcasts. So basically, I've brought on Isaac Dunne, who's been on my podcast before. Say hello, Isaac.
Hello.
Yeah. You're probably know him as one of the Folgers boys. You know, and when are you doing another podcast? Come on, this has been months.
I think it's almost a year now.
Yeah.
Maybe more.
Is it SGS's fault? Just say
yeah, it's always his fault.
Yeah, that's good. And I'll ask him, he's going to blame you, obviously.
Yeah. I mean, it is. I think it is my fault, but it is his fault. So it's not mine.
Yeah. It's his fault existentially, really.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I brought you on as a contrast. We're talking about how your view of films changed as you age. So we thought it'd be quite good to have someone like me who's a bit ancient and someone like you who's young. So you've got the thing of going from childhood to adulthood and changing tastes, and I've got the going through that and now going through all these other years, and your taste changes well in different ways too. And it's like, how does it change? How does it affect you? Because I thought it'd be quite a good contrast. You get different opinions about how you change over time, because I would say you're in the early 20s jihadist mode of film criticism where everyone is not an artist, is a total scumbag. Am I right?
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I went through that phase as well. You don't rant as much as SGS, so he really rants, isn't he?
He's the master.
He's like someone. You're the normal one in comparison.
Yeah, in comparison, yeah.
Yeah. And I'm now the much older person who's been through that phase and now watches really good films and really weird films at the same time. So it's like, it's about how people change over time, really. But one thing I have noticed is that my ability to watch films has decreased. Like, I can only watch so many films a day now. Before I could watch them a lot more, but now it's like, I just don't have the concentration anymore. It's like when you see, I watch films all day, you're thinking, I can't do that now. I don't have the stamina anymore. So, I think I'll just start and ask you, how do you think you've changed over the last 10 years in your film watching?
I mean, 10 years is a long time, especially in my life, so it's very vast.
Yeah. Well, that's why I got to give you 10 years to give you a contrast.
I guess just from less dumb to getting less dumb as it goes along, I guess.
Yeah, but there must be a difference of how you look at the films, though. Like, how do you interpret films? Like, I know when I was younger, I'd be able to watch films, and I'd kind of instinctively know what's good and what's bad, but I couldn't really articulate it. And you just get a feeling sometimes a film. I do think I was a little more emotionally connected to films when I was much younger, even though my taste was wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. So, like, when I first saw like something like Eraserhead, and I was like fairly young, like kind of an entry point into more art house films. Like, I didn't really know what was like that it was. I knew that it was different, and I instinctually knew, but I couldn't put my finger on why all this stuff hit me in a certain way. Whereas now I can go back with a more analytical eye and like pinpoint that's why this is happening, and the score like creates the mood and all that stuff.
Yeah, I actually saw Eraserhead for the first time in years, like last week. I'd not seen it for so long.
Yeah,
and it was like, and it is kind of weird because after you've seen a lot of David Lynch, it doesn't seem that weird anymore.
No.
It's like, it's David Lynch film.
Yeah,
it's normal. But yeah, I can't imagine watching that one early. I mean, I think one of the films I saw really early, probably when I was too young, was Taxi Driver. It was on TV, and I watched it, and it's that thing of, this just feels weird and off, and I know it's interesting, but I'm not sure if I'm mature enough to really figure out what's going on, but I really like it. It's that kind of gateway drug to something.
Yeah, with me, when I first saw Taxi Driver, it's definitely one that's grown over the years as I've matured and realised that it's good. Because coming from Goodfellas and how that's such a popular film now with like the
Yeah.
younger generation. So I was very used to that, and then coming back and seeing Taxi Driver when I was, in my stupid head, like 13, 14, I was like,
Yeah.
oh, it's dated and all the, it's not as good. And then, yeah, I couldn't see the psychological, like, how messed up the film is just because I wasn't mature enough. But
Yeah.
that's a good example.
Yeah, but it's kind of weird because I saw Taxi Driver before Goodfellas was made.
Yeah.
That's a big difference. It's like there was no Goodfellas. That's what Taxi Driver. This was Scorsese was in the Colour of Money phase of his career, really, where
Well,
he was.
he was just
king
the guy who made Mean Streets, and then that's the next thing he did. So people were like freaked out. Like, and
Yeah.
not that actually the next thing, but like the next famous thing.
Yeah. Yeah, no, but that's the thing though. Is like, when I saw it, he was just after Colour of Money, and he was trying to do Last Temptation of Christ, and it's that thing of he was a well-known director, but he wasn't like revered the way he is now.
Yeah, it's like a god now.
Yeah, he's gone from being really well respected to being almost like way overrated.
Yeah,
in a way that's like it doesn't really help him.
His current output doesn't.
I don't mean it's one of those things with directors is you're not helping them by overpraising them when they make mistakes. You really should be brutal with them so they know they've messed up, so they try harder.
That's what they say, isn't it? Like, because all your friends are all directors, and they get to a certain age when you're just hanging out with the same people, and none of them are criticizing each other.
Yeah, that's why you need someone like Schrader involved, because Schrader will criticize anybody. I think that's why Scorsese is less without Schrader, because Scorsese needs someone like Schrader to be blunt with him, rather than.
I mean, his last great film probably is the what's the Nicolas Cage one? The name?
Bringing Out the Dead.
Yeah, Bringing Out the Dead. Like the last proper, like it's on high ground of really being good.
Yeah, and that one I'm not like keen on that one. I like Kundun a lot, but I don't.
Oh yeah, no, actually, Kundun, yeah.
But I mean that was the last period. Even then, you're saying he's starting to lose it a little bit. But compared to what followed, I mean, there's a couple of films that he made that I like after that, like one, Hugo.
Hugo, yeah, I like
that. But they're good late films. They're not like top level films. They're well made, good films. But then again, he's remade 2 films I adore, or 3 films I adore that are really annoy me because I love the original Cape Fear. I love Infernal Affairs. I love Silence. It's like, why are you remaking all those films I really like?
I can finish Silence because I watched it like back to the. Well, we were going to do it for Folgers or something. We were doing Scorsese, and I watched it back to back with the original, and I just got to a point where I was like, I can't do this. The original is really good. I'm not going to bother.
Yeah, the original was brutal. The original felt brutal, and this one just feels like it's I don't know. It just felt way too long and too starry and
just in all the wrong places. It was missing all the marks.
Yeah, it's but that's the thing about aging is you start to see things in a different way, like things you're emotionally connected to. You maybe intellectually see that's okay, but it's not as good as I thought it was. There's other things that are better than that maybe I could appreciate when I was much younger. Like, I don't think I could appreciate a lot of I could not appreciate Buñuel when I was younger. Or, there's no way I'd get all the jokes and all the humour of Buñuel. I think you need to be in your 20s before you really get Buñuel, really, to really start appreciating him.
I saw Discreet Charm of the Bourgeoisie, like, fairly, like, young or new into art house. And that's definitely one I need to rewatch, because, like, so much of it probably went over my head.
Yeah, there's something about him. It takes a while. I think you need a certain sense of maturity because it's about so much about sexuality in his films that he needs to be about age a certain point before you really understand that stuff.
And even his like Mexican films, which are more straight laced with like hints of surrealism scattered, are still really.
But Elle or De La Cruz, I mean, you need to be grown up to watch those films to understand what's going on.
They're pretty brutal as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like it does take age, And I mean, I remember I saw like Bresson fairly early. I was in my
Yeah.
early mid-20s. I saw Bresson, and I was old enough to get it. Like straight away, I got it straight away. I get it better now, probably when
I
I'm
think
older.
yeah.
But
I
you
was
can mostly get it though.
yeah, I was lucky because I think I found the right one to start with, which was Mouchette, which is
Yeah,
one of the more not like obvious, but like it's on more on the surface level rather than like the really late work.
yeah, but it's also a more emotional film than
Yeah, no,
some of his later films.
that's my favorite Bresson.
Yeah,
But yeah,
yeah, because I was lucky. I saw Bresson like in '99
hmm
when they were doing this season on the in Edinburgh Film Festival, and I was
okay,
up there that year doing something. So I
yeah,
would just go to these Bresson films all the time.
yeah.
Cause,
I think
and it,
a man escaped is a really good entry if you want to
yeah,
tell someone to watch Bresson.
yeah. I can't even remember which ones I saw, but I know I saw Machete, I saw Balthazar, and I think I saw Man Escape. But I saw so many of them, and I've seen a few of the GFT as well. So I've seen quite a lot of Bresson films at the cinema, which is quite
Yeah,
nice. I think you really need to see it in the cinema to get certain things. He's definitely a director. It's good to see him in cinema.
yeah.
It was,
I've never seen one of his films in the cinema, so it's still
uh,
a thing to do.
yeah, it's definitely something to do because there's more of an impact. There's just more impact. I mean, there's certain directors I've not seen any of the films in cinema that
That's
you really.
that's the vast majority for me now. So
I know, but I've actually found you can't see, but I've got a projector now, and you can
yeah,
project them, and it's a much
yeah,
closer cinema experience. So you can watch the older films or foreign films. So it's been my way around the lockdown of missing the cinema. I brought it home.
yeah. And
I have a whole wall ready with a screen and a projector. And it's like, okay, I'm not sure we need to go back to cinema anymore. I'm good. But it's good you can actually see older films. You can see like really good old films the way
yeah,
you want
especially
to.
especially nowadays that most of them are getting restored, thankfully.
Yeah, and if you manage to get them like because of a decent sized projector, it's 1080p one, you get them pretty good quality.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah, so it's you can actually see a lot of the details. But yeah, I mean it's hard though to see certain films just in the small screen because sometimes you don't really get, or you
yeah,
get them, but you don't get them the
yeah.
same way that yeah. Like if you see the 2001, the big screen, you
Oh
see
yeah,
it's
yeah.
much more impactful, you know. So I mean,
In the very beginning when it's complete darkness, you're just left there.
yeah, because you find that those screens, people either leave or they're there the full time and going. There's no in between.
It was both when I happened when I went to see it.
Yeah,
People were just left and then the rest stayed.
yeah, it is a special film. It's like it requires you to actually pay attention. And it's just like I think it's
Yeah,
just maturity. I want a film the way I want a film. This is no, this is a different type of film. You should try and experience some new stuff. Because I remember
yeah,
when I was a film student, I'm not sure you get this, is where a lot of the films try to teach people different type of films, and it didn't over people's heads, and they would never make the effort to try and connect
yeah,
with it.
definitely. They're just staying in their like comfort zone and just rewatching the same, kind of 50 films, but never venturing
Yeah.
except beyond new releases.
Did you ever get wavelength when you studied film?
No, but I have seen.
Wavelength, yeah, but wavelength in a group of
Yeah,
students.
can imagine.
Some of them were going mental, and I was happy because this is really interesting, and some of them
Yeah,
were absolutely doing nothing, and it was hilarious, and yeah, but I think a lot of people do not want to spread beyond a certain conventional storytelling. They want
yeah,
like their idea of a challenging story is Goodfellas because the protagonist isn't that sympathetic, and
yeah. And
so what?
it's very long.
Yeah,
It's
but
not
it's like
90
it's
minutes.
not that.
No, it's not
It,
that deep.
no, it's not that deep. It's not that out of touch compared to the rest.
Yeah,
It's got it's got conventionality to it that's good and bad because it's good film, but it's not the most unique film.
Yeah,
I mean,
well, its reputation hasn't helped that because it's been copied so many times now that when you look back,
yeah. I mean, in some ways, Scarface gets better, is easier
oh, yeah.
because Scarface has been parodied and copied, but not as much as
That's
Goodfellas, so it feels
that's one that
fresher.
yeah, that's one that a lot of people don't get, that De Palma's being really cynical and just
Yeah, it's
yeah,
a joke. It's a
yeah,
dark, dark joke.
felt yeah,
Yeah, I think King of New York's beyond most of them
yeah,
because it's all about the business side of drug business. It's a business. That's what it's all about, and it's like,
yeah,
wait a minute, that's shooting, yeah, but it's not really about that. It's about the
yeah.
business side.
Yeah. There's like some shootouts, but that's not what the film's about at all.
Yeah, and it's like trying to stretch yourself. I think that's the big thing. See, when you're younger, is are you going to stretch yourself?
Yeah,
Are you going to try and find something that is uncomfortable? And think this is uncomfortable for me, but why is it uncomfortable? And then stretch yourself beyond that, or are you going to just say, "I feel safe"?
mm-hmm.
Like when I was a student, the big film was Blade Runner,
Oh yeah,
and I like Blade Runner, but I don't love Blade Runner.
yeah. It's
Like,
pretty good.
yeah, I've read the book. The book's better. And there's like, if I tell people, you should read the book's much better. No, 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 the film's perfect, don't get the book. Yeah, because the
Yeah,
book's got lots of ideas that don't, are,
translate.
are more complicated than
Yeah.
what's in the film.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm not reading that, I'm not doing that. And it's like, come on. But I noticed when I was a student, I was the one that went to see the weird films, no one else did. Like, I was
Yep.
the one who went to see the odd stuff and would scour the library and find all the really strange films and get them out of the library. And a lot of people just be like, I'm not going to watch that. Why do I watch that? And it's like, because it's interesting. It looks weird.
Why not? And do you find that it kind of comes back like those people who do get into the weird films, they kind of say that some people just refuse as they get like older. They lock their tastes off as well eventually, and they're just watching the films they've already seen, and then they've kind of fallen into that trap of not seeking out new stuff as well.
I think it depends on your taste. Some do,
Yeah,
some don't. I think it's like some people think I'm going to go beyond the normal. I'm going to have some strange ones, but
yeah,
that's it. That's as far as I'm going to go. And it's like, actually, I want to see everything. I
yeah.
want to see
Yeah, I mean, some
everything.
people just get to a certain point when they've like, oh, I've seen all the films now. I've got to a certain age, and then, but truly, you're either one of those persons who wants to see every film, or just not.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to have certain tastes, the films you're going to watch.
Yeah,
There's certain films. I mean, there's some YouTubers I really like who are like who's from such a film and Asian film
yeah,
enthusiasts who are into Asian films,
yeah. They're
but
specific,
they're
but they're like,
into all the Asian films. They're
yeah,
into like, everything. It's like they get into that the way that I could never do because it's too big an area. It's like you can't
that's
watch them all.
good. It's
Yeah,
like for me, I like take bits from them and take bits from other people who focus on specific stuff and
yeah,
try and spread out all of them.
yeah. I mean, they've got a certain taste though, but it's actually really good because they're still trying new things and they're bringing up
Yeah,
films that you would never hear of. So it's not like they've actually still they're quite wide. They've got a taste. I mean, I've got a certain taste for certain films that I like. That there's certain films that's like I don't really like. I'm not really going to go into
some of
that.
them like you're watching just for the reputation of watching it.
Yeah, I mean, there's no way I'm going to watch most mainstream films that are meant to be good for you, the kind of bland middle
Yeah.
ground ones. I'm just not going to watch them. I'm just not. It's not for
Uh-huh.
me. So that's a blind spot for me. There's certain
You're
films that
quite you're quite good at keeping up with new releases generally, like far better than I.
kinda, but a lot of the time it's because I'm taking my nephew to the cinema.
Okay, yeah,
So I'm taking him. So I wouldn't be as good if I wasn't doing that. So there is that really. But I do try and keep up. But it's
yeah,
in my own way really because there's certain films I'm not going to watch.
yeah.
And a lot of films I'm going to watch is because I think they're going to be trashy as hell.
And fun.
Yeah, they're going to be fun, trashy. So what? Then I'll watch the good stuff. It's like
Yeah.
not like I'm getting less. I'm finding some less and less interested as I get older. It's like it's more of a struggle now. There's less stuff for me to find that I really want to see.
Mhm.
I'm getting to that stage where I'm looking back to older films I like more than watching new. Because a lot of the new stuff is like a lot of stuff that comes out on Netflix now. It's like I don't
Oh
care.
God, yeah,
I don't care.
that's a wasteland.
You get some good stuff, but not much. It's like still have to buy what I need.
Yeah, most of the Netflix stuff, you just wait for the directors who you know to when they've released their film on there. That's when you know you're going to watch it.
Yeah, I actually find with streaming, I'm actually buying more really like from Amazon and iTunes because they've got all the stuff and you can just buy them and that's it. And it's like I'd much rather do that because
It's good, yeah. Amazon Prime has like below the surface like a hidden pool of good films.
yeah, no, I mean go beyond Amazon Prime, which is just the normal stuff. They've got a lot of Chinese films because you can actually get
Yeah,
Chinese films that are like £3 sometimes that are really good ones, and then there's some that are £3 that are total trash, but you want to see them because they look total trashy.
if you don't have to buy the Blu-ray, so
I know, yeah. I mean, you have to buy it. It's like iTunes is the same way, but it's like, yeah, I'm finding this. I'm really struggling at the moment with mainstream films because there's not that much out that
yeah,
I want to
there's
see.
nothing much interesting happening, is there?
Yeah, because sometimes they're like multi-million dollar films, massive ones, but it's like I just want to see stupid ones. I don't care
Yeah,
about the kind of given the dumb ones. I'll watch them, but I'm not going to watch the sort of spectacle ones. It's like nah. I mean, up for an Oscar, it's going to be hard to get me to watch the film.
yeah.
It's just like, I mean, I was kind of disgusted that Parasite won the Oscar because it's too good a film for the Oscar.
Yeah.
It's like, you're too good for this. Don't do it yourself. And we got what was when the Yorgo? What do you call him?
Oh, Yorgos Lanthimos.
Yes, he was up for an Oscar the year before or
Yeah.
something. It was like you're too
Yeah.
good for this. Don't do this to yourself. Because it's good to get money for the films, but it's like, well, you're going to be forgotten a couple of years from these people because they're not going to keep you.
I think the good thing about Parasite is some people have like reached out and found more of his work, and then I believe they'll get into world cinema and all the types of cinema eventually.
Yeah, because I had quite a lot of his work already, but it was quite good to get back and Dolphins Never Bite get released. It's like I've never seen that one, so it's quite good that get released. But I realised I looked back and what I already had of his. It's like I've got most of them. Like we did the box set. It's like
it's great.
Box set.
Yeah. Did you have any examples of a film that you've kind of loved when you were younger and you've gone back and just realised this is bad, or you can just see all
the picture I've got in the cover of that video is from Clash of the Titans, which I saw as a kid. I've seen that film so many times as a kid, and now you look back on it, it's like this is not aged well at all. I still kind of love it, but it's not aged well. The film is playing in my head is great, but the film is actually playing.
Yeah, you wish you could see the one in your head.
Yeah. So that was one of the ones. So it's you have a film that you saw as a kid, you thought it was amazing, and you look at it now and you go, "What the hell?"
Not so much as a kid, but I've got a couple of examples of like popular stuff. So, the Revenant. So when that first came out, big like Oscar buzz and all that stuff, and I went and see it. I thought it was brilliant, but going back now, it's just totally hollow and emotionless, and yeah.
That's one of those films I liked but didn't love, and I saw it.
Yeah.
The big problem I had with that film was I was really into the Tom Hardy character and not the DiCaprio character. And it's like I'm kind of in the side of the villain. I want the villain to win. And that's not what you're meant to be thinking here. But it's like he's so much more interesting.
Yeah,
he's way on the top, but he's really interesting. It's like, I think that was a film where they just thought, just let Tom Hardy do what he wants. Just let him do.
Yeah, this is Leo's vehicle, but
yeah. He stole the film entirely. Because if you watch that in about 10 years' time to ask people who won the Oscar, they'll all think it was Tom Hardy. And then when we say it's DiCaprio, it's like, what, really? What? Him? What? Why? I much prefer him doing funnier stuff than doing serious stuff. I think he's much better as a comedian than Catch Me If You Can or Wolf of
Okay.
Wall Street, I think, are much more fun films to
Yeah.
watch than
Yeah. Definitely fits
serious
that.
stuff.
Because he's
Yeah.
kind of, he's kind of a joke when he is being serious in a way, just because of his reputation.
He's kind of one note.
Yeah,
It's
definitely.
serious, and when you give him
Starts
humor, he livens up.
whining and screaming.
Yeah. So it's like, I mean, he's put against Tom Hardy. Tom Hardy's so good at switching between different emotions so quick. It's like you can see the difference in skill.
Yeah.
The one's a really good actor, and one's okay.
Mhm.
But that's Hollywood for you. It's okay. Thought it was genius. It's like, no, it's not. It's not really. I mean, put him against someone like Mads Nicholson. He's going to
Yeah.
look really bad. They're doing another round remake.
Oh
It's
god,
like,
that's gonna be.
it's
So
like,
we got the Parasite American series and another round remake coming.
I know it's
Uh,
ridiculous, but at least the Parasite thing's a continuation. It's not really a remake. And the people involved in the original film, so they're doing something different. That one is like, okay, I'll wait and see because they've got the original director. They might do something interesting. And they get the American side's Adam McKay, who did all the Big Shot stuff. It's like this stuff is is weird. So it's like he might be a good mix for him. I mean, I like his stuff, but it's not very deep. But I like his stuff.
Yeah, he's trying to, as the years go on, try and make himself seem more serious, like the Peter Farley, whichever Farley brother did Green Book.
Yeah, but
and the Joker guy as well, Todd Phillips.
Yeah,
they're trying to make. Well, you see all these kind of comedy directors as the years go on try and make themselves more serious.
Yeah, they go from fart jokes to try and be Oliver Stone.
Yeah, there's a lot of Oliver Stone worship in them.
Yeah, and you don't realise Oliver Stone is kind of is unintentionally funny.
Yeah,
you just have to. I mean, even in the 90s, when you watch him at its peak, there was so much unintentional humour there. I mean, try watching The Doors.
JFK is hilarious.
Yeah.
Just how mad it is.
Yeah. I love JFK because it is mad. It's so mad. It's like watching something like Invasion of the Body Snatchers where everyone's paranoid. That's what it feels like. It's like, there's no way this is true because...
It's completely ridiculous as well.
Yeah.
Because it's like his version of the story, so he just does whatever he wants.
Yeah. I mean, that was the thing. I was into the Kennedy conspiracy at the time, so I was reading books about it and stuff, and then I saw that film and thought, that's a bit far. No. You've got a bit wacky here. There's, it's like, for all that to happen, everyone have to be a genius. It's like, and people are stupid.
Yeah.
It's probably much more of a screw up than anything else. But yeah, no, I mean, they're trying to grow into like serious directors that've been serious, and it's like it's almost have to say to them, look, making Anchorman is so much cooler than having made like a Dick Cheney movie. Anchorman's so much funnier and so much better.
Yeah, like The Big Short is just like a really light version of The Wolf of Wall Street, pretty much.
I actually like Big Short more than Wolf of Wall Street because it was shorter.
Yeah, fair enough.
It was like I was more enjoyable. I liked the characters more. I thought it was fun, but I didn't think it was deep. It was a surface level thing, but it was enjoyable. But I really kind of wish they'd stuck to the Christian Bale character because he was more interesting than anyone else. Because it was like make a movie about him because that's more interesting than anything else going on.
Yeah,
this
I think
guy.
The Big Short is one of the better ones of that type.
Yeah.
And even someone like David O. Russell, who has been making mostly serious films, is kind of making these kind of mediocre drama. Yeah.
He's one of the ones where he makes enjoyable films, and that's it. It's like they're reasonably intelligent films, but they're entertainment, and it's like just accept them what they are. They're not deep, but they're fun for what they are. And that's how America is best, is making fun movies that are not that deep. Seems to be. Much. It's like there's. Like when they try and be serious, a lot of the time I just cringe at it because it's like that's why I'm in problem with mainstream films. There's like so much of it's just cringe now. It's like, I mean, there's a few good directors out there that do stuff, but most of the time it's like there's people trying too hard.
Yeah.
And it's kind of also the thing I find is that people saying, "Oh, all these indie directors are going to do Marvel films." It's like, well, it's probably better for them because they're probably not that good.
Yeah, they'll learn to have the constraint and everything, and then
Yeah,
they can make their own films.
and it would still be bland.
Yeah.
It's like if your ambition is to do a Marvel film in the first place, you're probably not that ambitious.
No. Well, like, it's weird how they kind of they pick up with these really indie directors after their first hit, and then wonder why all the films fail. They've just come out of the gate, and you're just swooping them up already
Yeah,
in front of these multi-million-dollar projects.
yeah. Well, things at least in Marvel, they protect the directors and actually the big sort of entertainment films. It's when they go to stuff like some of these other films that try to start with to be the Marvel, the people try to fight Marvel. That's usually when it goes into a total disaster because they expect me to do it straight away, and it's like, no, they don't. They're young directors. They're still forming themselves, and you should be giving them money for another smaller film to build themselves up. They need to see more films before they do this.
Yeah.
Because that's been. If you look at Scorsese or De Palma or something, they were doing smaller films for a while before they got the big break.
Yeah.
They didn't get a big break straight away, and usually when they got the big break, they usually messed up.
Normally, they had to make their first 3 or 4 films like by hand with their own cameras and own money as well.
Yeah.
Especially De Palma and Scorsese.
Well, De Palma his first break was a disaster. He had to go back to New York and start doing thrillers for a bit, and then come back. And Scorsese was having problems for years as well. It's like, and his big break was New York, and it was a disaster.
I like the film. But yeah.
I like it as well, but it was a disaster. It was like
it's a disaster, yeah.
Because it's completely against what the producers probably wanted was, which is why it's so likable. Because De Niro's character is a total scumbag throughout, and it's like that's what's good about the film. He's a psycho. And no director does that anymore. They don't do those things anymore. They just do like.
And if they do, they're copying like with Joker. Like it's just Taxi Driver and King of Comedy.
Yeah, but they have to make him sympathetic because you can't.
Yeah.
You can't make him too evil.
They're just scared.
Yeah, because if you look at that compared to You'll Never Really Hear.
Oh yeah,
a much better film because he's seriously stuff in that film, and Joker seems a lot more like it's like a poor guy type of thing. I enjoyed the Joker, but it was like I was not seeing it as a serious film. I just thought it was like it's coming up with what's wrong in the world at the moment, but it's not looking at it in a really clear way.
There was ridiculous stuff in there, like when he went to like the Batman Manor and talked to like the little Bruce Wayne.
I know.
Like, how can you take it seriously when that happens?
Yeah, but that's they're trying to make comic books respectable, and it's like comic books are stupid. That's the fun of them. You're not going to say that anymore. I liked comic books as a kid. They were stupid. I enjoyed them. I moved on. You're meant to do that. You're meant to do that with Star Wars. You're meant to do that with Star Trek. You're meant to move on. But people just can't move on from their what they loved as a kid. It's like they're trapped within what they liked as a child.
Yeah,
and it becomes a real problem.
And then they pass it on to their kids as well.
Yeah, as if it's something that's ideal, and it's like, no, I mean, enjoying what you liked as a kid is fine, but you have to move on as well. You have to say, look, that's there. I can still enjoy Star Wars and Indiana Jones and stuff like that, but I don't need to
like worship it.
Yeah, I don't need to watch it all the time. I don't need to lose myself to think that Rise of Skywalker is not one of the worst films ever made, because it is. It's terrible.
I just didn't bother saying it, so
it's incompetent. It's literally incompetent.
The fact that they brought the Emperor back is hilarious and terrifying.
No, it's actually much worse in the film than you ever think.
I can imagine.
No, when I saw it, actually, me and my cousin saw it, and we were enjoying it because how tacky it was. It was like it got so tacky. We really enjoyed it because it was so tacky, and it was like it was like just watching like it could have been like that thing where they have like the showgirls where they have the kind of commentaries, the sarcastic commentaries. You could be doing that with that film quite easily because it's so wrong.
Do you have any examples of a film, like a recent film, that you may have you watched and then you didn't think much of it, or you didn't fully get it, and then you've come back in recent years, like maybe from the past decade?
Well, when I first saw the thing, the drunk after thing,
Uh-huh.
it stuck the hell out of me, and I wasn't sure if I liked it or not. And then when I saw it again, I was like, oh, this is amazing. But it was actually that thing of, I was so young, I didn't quite understand what it was doing to me.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
But there's that. I mean, there's lots of films that you see and you think, I don't quite get this, and then you see it later and you go, oh, I get it now. And there's vice versa. There's films where you think are good, but you see them, but it was just a surface level thing, and you think,
Yeah.
no, this is stupid. This is terrible.
Yeah. Or have you gone back and you kind of realize you've just underestimated the whole film, and then maybe you were too cynical at the time or something?
Yeah, I tend to go in hoping to like the film, no matter what it is. I
Yeah.
try and like it.
I
So
mean,
I'm never
I've
usually cynical about it. It's usually like,
yeah,
over it. I was too kind to it is my worst thing. Is like something I'm too kind to films, and I probably shouldn't have been.
I've got
You know,
an example of
yeah,
like a more recent film, like the second Trainspotting film.
yeah,
When you go back to it, it was much better than I remembered, and I think I kind of hated on it at the time just because it was this big sequel. And then
all
I
right,
went back and realized it was more intelligent than I initially thought it was.
yeah. I've only seen that once, but I've got it. I need to rewatch it. I enjoyed it when I first saw it,
Yeah,
but it was that thing. The film was, I liked the original as well, but didn't love it.
yeah,
And
the original
the sequel, I enjoyed
film.
the film, I didn't love it, and it's like, that's
Yeah,
what it is. It's Danny Boyle's thing, because a lot of his films I like but don't love. With him,
yeah.
it's
There's a
like,
lot. There's a lot of bad ones.
I mean, the one I like best with him is Sunshine. Even though it's very flawed,
Yeah,
I just like
it's
the
in,
setup. I mean, the second half does go into weird, dumb things, but I just like how crazy it is, and it's
yeah.
just enjoyable. But it is not the work of a sane person a lot of the time,
He
especially the
is
end.
weird because he rides the line between mainstream and then doing his own thing sometimes.
Yeah, but sometimes he makes films you think, why are you doing that? That was stupid.
Like the children's film he made, like whatever it was, The Millionaire.
Yeah,
What that was.
yeah, that's Train Spotting 2. I kind of enjoyed, but it was like, did you ever get a thing where sometimes you watch a film, you're like, what film did you best you see? Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
I get that a lot. It's like, why?
Spy, and you're like, oh,
Well, like, why are you saying this is the greatest film ever made? Like, why?
yeah,
What's the justification?
yeah. No, it is. The first one is very held on a pedestal. I mean, particularly in Britain.
Yeah, in Scotland it's massive because it's
Yeah, I can imagine.
but it's like, but at least it's a decent film. It's not Braveheart. Braveheart gets.
Yeah,
I hate Braveheart with a passion that's almost
it's
insane.
terrible.
And it's a truly awful film. The
Yeah,
dialogue's atrocious. The character beats are just awful. It's just a offensively awful film, and people love it. It's like, why do you love it? It's not good. It's really not good. It completely pisses over history,
yeah,
and because this guy was not as important as they say he was. It was Robert the Bruce. He was like, Robert the Bruce story is much more interesting than this guy. And they made up all this stuff for this guy. And it's like, just do the Robert the Bruce story. That's interesting. That's got drama.
mm-hmm.
And this thing was just. That's one that really I could rant for ages. I've done a video which I hate it.
Yeah, I've seen your video.
I compared it to the what was the Serbian film.
Oh god, yeah,
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 yeah, but I do find I change a lot with my opinions, but not in important films.
yeah.
I, cha- I think a film that's kind of mediocre, I'll just start seeing it as mediocre and just think, I was probably in a good mood for that, doing a good mood for that one. But the films that are really good, I think they stick as really good because there's something in the films that are like undeniably good.
Yeah.
Because I'm taking this film seriously, I don't change that much. But if I'm not taking it too seriously, I'm not thinking about it too much when I'm watching it. So probably that's the big thing for me as I age. Really, it's like what did I actually take seriously
Yeah.
in the first place?
Yeah, joke or not.
Yeah. Maybe do you have that thing where you take some things seriously and other things you're just not going to bother trying?
Yeah. Yeah, well, most new releases, not so much take seriously.
Yeah, but there is a lot of good stuff. I mean, you've got just behind you the Bergman set. I mean,
Yep.
yeah, remember
Don't take that
they were
seriously.
they were released. They were taken seriously because it was a serious cinema in the '60s.
Yeah.
There were serious filmmakers. They actually thought filmmaking could be important.
Yeah.
You don't get that anymore. By the time I was born, it was gone.
Mm-hmm.
Or by the time I was kind of conscious, it was the '80s, and it was all gone.
Yeah.
Like,
The
I
80s.
just missed it and no more. And it was like that's the last time it was taken seriously. I mean, the most taken seriously now is Tarantino, and it's like, really?
Yeah. Oh.
But why? I mean, they'd rather talk about him than talk about someone like Schrader, who's a much more interesting director,
Yeah.
or Roy Anderson, or any of the little European directors who are interested in, Aki Kurosawa or whatever. You've got all those directors who you could take seriously, and you don't. Like, God knows, talking about Asian cinema, you might get in Second Sound, but they're not going to talk about that much. They might talk about Parasite and maybe one or two other films, and it's like, that's a whole continent.
Yeah, literally.
We're not going to talk about.
Greatest films in the world right now. They're just ignoring it.
I know, it's insane. It's like they'll announce something like, oh, we're going to talk about this, but you don't really. We just talk about a few of them. You won't go into it. So you can't really take it seriously because they're not actually taking the question seriously of what's really good.
Mm-hmm.
But that goes back to what we were talking about earlier with the expectations when you're younger, like what do you want to stick to? And what you want to stick to is an easier narrative. Is that what you want to stick to as your consciousness going forward?
Uh-huh.
Or is it going to be something deeper? You're just going to just say, why do I like this? What's driving me to like this?
Yeah. Or are you going to even bother to seek out the more interesting films? Or are you just going to just drift along?
Yeah. Like I mentioned Chris Marker to anybody. All they know is La Jetée because 12 Monkeys is based on it. And there's a Terminator kind of feeling to it. It's like, that's Chris Marker. And I go, that's a one Chris Marker thing. There's so many really great films he made.
Yeah.
It's like Sansoli was a masterpiece, but no one's going to see it.
Yeah, and even then, that's always like grouped with La Jetée on the release. But still, nobody talks about it.
Yeah, it's the only way to sell it is to put it with La Jetée.
Yeah.
Like I've got the collection of Chris Marker stuff, and I've got the Owl Legacy. Owl's Legacy.
Yeah. To get into those, but
yeah, I mean, trying to find them and get people interested in them are impossible because I'm about to start doing one of the things I'm planning to do this year is the Chris Marker stuff.
Oh, nice.
I know I'm going to get about 3 views for a film. I just know it.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got a sound direct I'm going to do this year that I'm planning.
It's like you did some Peter Watkins, like that's niche. Like only those who know will seek that out.
Yeah, I'm going to do more of him as well. I want to do more of him. I need to do it for a monk because I haven't done. I need to rewatch that.
That's a big one, but yeah,
I know.
I think that may be his. It's his most personal film, but my favorite. But he's a master.
Yeah,
and even like the later years when he kind of went to Sweden and Denmark, like those films are really hard to track down.
Yeah, I did Punishment Park and no one cared like at all. And it was like it's all about what's going on just now.
Yeah,
no one cares. Like I'm going to do more Alan Clark stuff. I've done the popular ones, and now I'm going to go into the least popular ones, and it's going to be like 5 views per video probably. Like I'm going to get slaughtered.
Yeah,
and it's like, but I'm going to do them because I want to watch them. It's like, well, I'm going to do that.
Yeah, but they're fantastic.
But I'm kind of aware that I'm going to get slaughtered.
Mm-hmm. I'll watch them.
Watch them.
If it's just me.
Yeah, no, because I found the first couple of months this year, I found it really hard to get into serious films, and now I'm kind of into the mode of, like, I'm going to start doing a Herzog thing.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
And again, it's going to get slaughtered. But it's like, I've been telling Rodin for months I'm doing it. I'm going to do it. Because he was going to do it, and I said, no, I was going to do it as well. And he wasn't going to do it for a while. I was like, he said, yeah, you do it. And then 3 months later, I still haven't started, but I'm going to start it. Yeah. It's like, because you think, it's great we started, but I'm now getting into those kind of harder directions again.
Yeah.
I think because of lockdown in the early part of the year, I don't want to watch like Herzog at the moment. It's too brutal.
Yeah. But that box, the BFI box set's really great as well.
Yeah.
That's got loads of stuff, and there's still so many not in the box set as well.
I know
He is a definition of prolific.
Yeah, it's like you can go on for ages with him. I mean, that's the thing. One of my favourite his is Fat Morgana. No one knows what that is.
He did kind of like a similar one, Land of Silence and Darkness or something.
Yeah.
About the Kuwait oil fields. That's my favourite one.
Yeah.
Just the camera work in that, and then the landscapes and everything. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, some of his best stuff is stuff no one's seen.
Yeah.
I mean, they talk about Rescue Down. They won't talk about the documentary made before that about that subject, which is better.
Right. Yeah. Like Little Detail Needs to Fly or something.
Yeah, it's really amazing. Mm-hmm. And it's like no one covers that. It's like, oh yeah, we love Herzog. What have you seen of Herzog? I've seen Aguirre, Wrath for God, and I've seen the one or two the other Kinski ones. That's it. It's like that's nothing. That's
even the Kinski ones. There are ones no one watches.
I know.
They just watch Fitzgerald and Aguirre. Yeah, Strozek or I can't remember. The name escapes me. But yeah.
Cobra Verde. No. Well, that is the weakest
one.
It's the weakest one, though.
It's a bit flawed, but it's really interesting.
Yeah.
And even the story behind it makes it even more fascinating.
Yeah. One of my other favourite Herzog is Heart of Glass. Try and get people to watch that one.
It's in the box set. I'll get to it at some point.
Oh, it's amazing. Yeah. It's stunning.
About the hypnotist,
Yeah. It's so amazing, and it's like no one will ever watches it, and it's like because I kind of got sidetracked a little bit, not really, by all these Asian films. It was a pleasure. I was quite happy to get sidetracked with those ones because there's so much that I've got that I still need to watch as well. But there's like so much good stuff, and it's like I'm in my 40s. I'm still excited about all these new things I'm going to see. Yeah. I've been in Asian cinema for 20 years trying to watch this stuff. It's like a lot of people are just, I've seen what I want to see. I want to watch TV now, and it's like, why?
TV, that's a different conversation, but TV at the moment, there's good stuff, but the vast majority is just awful.
Yeah. One of the best ones I saw for the last few years was Father and Son, which was from Syria.
That. Yeah, I saw your review of it.
Yeah, you can get it on Amazon, and it's like it's all about the Syrian conflict, and no one else looks into it. It's all about what happens to generations of men.
They'll watch the ITV made one, but not the actual
the one that knows what they're talking about. It's like because that's the brutality, what happens to children in war, how they turn out. Because some of them will turn into the kind of psychos that you're terrified of because of what's happened to them in life,
or even like the act of killing and the look of silence.
I know, amazing.
Talks about that. So they're like, the greatest films of the past decades.
Yeah, no one looks into that. Or Emperor's Naked Clothes.
Oh yeah, I need to get to that. Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
I've got
it. It's like your jaw will be on the floor.
Yeah. Or even something like
the Emperor's Naked Army. That's it. I was getting them mixed up by Disney film Emperor's Naked.
Emperor's Naked Clothes. Yeah.
I know. I was like. I think we were talking. I know I've just done something stupid there. But it's stunning, and nobody will watch it. And it's like, why don't you just watch this stuff?
It's even got a new release now, so it's available. I know.
Yeah, second one is doing amazing stuff. They've got Valley of Week of Wonders. They've got all these Ikari and all these other weird films.
Uh-huh.
If you actually just look, you can find a lot of cool, interesting stuff that's really
one of the best labels.
And even if you just look in iTunes or Amazon, you can find some really cool stuff that's hard to find, and you can maybe get it for a few £. If you have curiosity to watch it.
The golden age of availability, but even then, it's still not perfect. There are still so many films that are near impossible to find.
Yeah, no, but I mean, you can find stuff now that you can never find before, and
that's the point.
Yeah, and it might take a while to get through it all, but you can't get through it all. You just have the patience to just keep going.
Yeah.
Just keep chugging on and watching them. I've no idea how SGS watches films because he seems to go through them so quick. It's like, how do you manage? That must be a youth thing. I just can't do that anymore.
Yeah, not now. I'm not really in like a film period. I'm starting to get back into it. But in the summer when we were in lockdown, I did like 5 films a day, so it was insane.
Yeah, I could do that when I was younger, but I can't do it anymore. It's just like my brain just does not accept that. I think because I need to. When I watch a film, and I want to concentrate on film.
Uh-huh.
But I want to make sure I'm actually appreciating the film. I don't want to do numbers anymore. I just want to be like, I'm going to appreciate this stuff. If it means I'm only watching 2 films a day, that's fine. If I'm appreciating them rather than 5. I guess the aging brain just does not allow you to do that.
Yeah.
So that's something to look forward to.
Yeah. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah. Enjoy it while it lasts.
Yeah. Well, they say that your actual taste buds, like for food, die as you get older. So maybe it's the same as your brain cells.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just what your curiosity is. I think curiosity is a big thing. You need curiosity to actually stay active mentally.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest. Because when you see people as they get older, some people remain curious and remain interested, and other people just don't. They've just lost all. Well, they just want to survive. It's like, it's boring. It's so boring. Just have some energy.
Yeah.
Even if energy towards stupid things, have some energy. I mean, to be honest, even though I mock all those people already, Star Wars too much, Star Trek, at least would have enough 40s of energy for something compared to some people who have no energy for anything. It's like, come on, why are you still alive? Well, I'll still mock the Trekkies, because mocking the Trekkies is fun.
Yeah. It's never been cool to be a Trekkie.
No, it never has been. That's
like I'm not one.
Yes. It's always quite enjoyable to do that. So
yeah, it's strange that like Doctor Who, it's more acceptable than being a Trekkie.
I know. Well, I'm a Doctor Who fan. I'm quite happy. I think the Doctor Who thing is, you have to know that it's cheap, and you just have to accept it, and it's fine. You don't have delusions.
Don't take it.
The Trekkies have about how great they are. What's that?
Don't take it totally seriously like Trekkies do.
No, I mean, I think you have to be aware that so much of the stuff you watched and liked has some trashy elements to it, and it always has been, and it's fine. It's a bit more. I think because it's British, there's a sense of humour about it. Like, I'm kind of into this, but I know, I'm allowed this. Yeah, that's the thing. That's one of my kind of things. I allow myself. I like the series films, but I allow myself Doctor Who because even though it's silly, but I watched it as a kid though, so there is a kind of nostalgia thing that's there. So it's like, well, that's fine. I'll watch this and I'll watch a Bergman film. Yeah. A Dalek episode and then Autumn Sonata. The ultimate double bill. But I used to be able to do that a lot. It's like I'd watch something serious, then watch something that's silly. I've always managed to do that. Just never been a problem.
Yeah.
With yourself, or do you go for certain moods for certain types of films?
It really depends on my mood. So sometimes I just wake up with a different mood every day.
Yeah.
Normally I try and tackle the big art house directors, which I need to see all the essentials.
Yeah.
Checking off all the Fellinis. But now I'm at the periods where I've done most of the essentials, and I've just got to go back and get the films that get left behind.
Yeah. I think if some directors are meant to have watched a lot of films and they don't really speak to you, I think it's easy to leave them behind more. Like, I know that Fellini, I was never really into Fellini compared to other directors. Like, I would much be more passionate trying to see more about Noel or more about Bresson, because I was just into them more.
Yeah, with Godard, he's not really like my guy. Like, I'll watch them because of the reputation, the filmmaking and the innovation, but I'm not really fully on board or invested. Yeah,
Godard's kind of cold. I much prefer Rivette. Rivette's
Rivette.
He's more fun.
It's the real master. Yeah.
Yeah. Even though a lot of films are very serious, they're just inherently fun.
There's
In a
there's
weird way.
there's still lots of humor in them as well.
Yeah.
Like Out One, like it's like one of the longest things ever. But you've got the Jean-Pierre Lord character like pretending to be deaf and dumb.
Yeah, there's lots of weird, interesting thinking on there. Like
Yeah.
he understands humor. It's just really enjoyable,
Hmm.
and I
And even
really,
when Godard's trying to be humorous, it still comes across quite cold.
yeah, I find him kind of cold.
Yeah, I don't dislike him. Yeah, it's more of just, oh, I appreciate that. I'll
Yeah,
move on.
but he's also pretentious, and you know it. There's something.
And a total like arsehole in real life as well.
Yeah, there's a
Don't dislike
self-regard to
that.
him that's
Yeah.
harder to deal with. And I mean, that's the thing. I was always masking it into Ozu.
Oh yeah.
Ozu always. I just saw Ozu, and I was like, yeah, that's one of my guys. But I was never been into Kurosawa as much. I know Ronan is the opposite. He loves Kurosawa. He's not really into Ozu. He really appreciates him. It's like,
I like both, but with Ozu for me, because I don't think I'm like as into it as you are, because he's one of your favorites. But for
yeah,
me, I have to like separate apart the films because the themes are quite similar, and they're
yeah,
kind of the same actors. But
yeah.
they're
No,
masterpieces. But I kind of have to like set a few
yeah,
films in between before I can't just
yeah,
watch them back to.
yeah. I know what you mean. No, that's the thing. It's just like sometimes some directors just what they do. Yeah, I get that. You instantly get it. And
Yeah,
that's you. You're happy. And other directors like Kurosawa for me used to be combined with David Lean in the sense of people who you're meant to love but don't.
yeah. David
But
Lean's a good technician, but
yeah, but the thing is, Kurosawa as I get older, I've appreciated him a lot more. I enjoy him a lot more now. I class him well above Lean. But
yeah,
when I was 20s, they were
yeah,
both like those two that you're meant to. And John Ford as well. You're meant to like them, but I'm not sure I really do. But now Kurosawa I like a lot more. But he's to me still not Uzu. Uzu,
yeah.
you know.
I probably out of the three, I'd probably take Mizoguchi.
Yeah, he's good. He's really good.
Or if you allow the next generation, Kobayashi is really like
Yeah,
my favorite of the Japanese.
yeah.
He is, yeah.
Well, I'm going to say Chances of the Bailiff is hard to
Oh,
beat.
yeah.
It's so
Pretty
good. It's
brutal
so brutal.
Yeah,
You do feel like the director just punched you in the face by the end. But yeah, but Human Condition's amazing as well. That's
yeah,
so good.
yeah. The greatest film ever made.
Yeah, it's one of those films I think also that it's the one film I think Kubrick's openly stole from Full Metal Jacket.
Yeah, and
Uh,
Spielberg for Schindler's List, although not
yeah,
openly.
yeah, I know, but I think it's so good. I don't think Kubrick even cared about it or noticed
Yeah,
he stole. He was just like, yeah, it's so good.
yeah.
I'm having some of that.
See a lot of Ophuls, like where Kubrick got a lot of his stuff from, from Max Ophuls, I think.
Yeah, he's so
Yeah,
good. I've actually been buying some of his stuff recently. So
yeah. I
much,
need to see more. I've seen like kind of three or four, but
yeah. It's like he's starting to become more available, so I'm starting to buy
yeah,
all the stuff as it's more available. I
yeah,
actually bought LeRon twice and didn't realize I had it. I had it.
yeah.
I forgot I actually had it. I bought it again, and it was like, oh, I'm the only person who had two copies of LeRon, so I gave one to my pal who was interested. So it's like, so it
Yeah.
worked out fine. But
Yeah, he's another one that, like, now that things are getting released in Blu-ray quality, he's thankfully become more available.
yeah,
Suppressed. Well, not suppressed, but just unknown. There are some directors who are kind of suppressed, like we mentioned Peter Watkins, just because of
yeah,
the subject matter.
yeah. Alex Cox, another one. He's the one
Oh,
who
yeah.
he's suppressed because he's so political. And it's like,
They released Reaper Man, but like
yeah,
Walker or
yeah,
Highway Patrolman.
yeah. I've got all of them in DVD, but nothing else. And it's like,
Yeah, like
oh,
the BFI, like
yeah,
released
release them
ages ago.
properly.
Yeah,
They need proper. I mean, especially Highway Patrolman, which for me is one of the best films of the '90s,
uh-huh.
and it's all about Mexican corruption and stuff. And it's like something that's fascinating. No one looks at.
Yeah. He's one of those people who are making really interesting films. I haven't really seen any of the modern stuff, but from what I gather, like he did like Searchers 2.0, and he's just doing loads of bizarre stuff.
Yeah,
That's far more interesting than anyone else.
he did Death of the Compass, which is really good. He did. Three Businessmen, which it's really good. I need to cover some of his stuff because I've got quite a lot of it. I like Red Dead Ranger's Tragedy, which
I don't
annoyed a
think
lot of people.
many people champion him as a director outside of Reaper Man. Or if they championing him, it's for movie drama or his film criticism.
Yeah, but he's an interesting director. I mean, sometimes the low budgets get in his way, but he still was always trying stuff, which is always really good.
Mm-hmm.
Compared to someone like Terry
Yeah.
Gilliam, who I was a big fan of when I was young.
Kind of fell off a bit.
He's just become this guy who just makes the same film again and again, worse and worse each time. It's like, I think pretty much after Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, you can pretty much
stop.
There's little bits and bobs. I quite like Tideland, but it's minor. It's still minor compared to the other stuff, and it's like, it's like you should have retired because you're not doing anything.
You're not going to be Brazil or Holy Grail or anything.
Yeah, no, it's that thing is like directors who actually just have. I think he's similar to Scorsese, someone who's just run out of ideas and he's just doing stuff to do it. But it's like there's no passion here. There's not. You don't really feel like they're doing it to do something amazing and new. It's just like we want to do that film.
Yeah,
it's like,
I have to make films, so this is what I do. Not like I'm so inspired to do this project.
Yeah, it's completely different. Someone like Cronenberg. Cronenberg was one of the directors I got really early. He's one of the directors I saw early before I could understand the films, but I got the films.
He's making films for him, and he's still passionate, even though they've gone in a different direction, like in the past decades.
Yeah, but he still see his films that are. Yeah. He still try to challenge himself and do something new.
Yeah,
and it's like that's I even took time off. For 5 years.
It's been a while since the last one, isn't it? Like 2014 or so.
Yeah, but he's making one just now, Crimes of the Future.
Yeah.
So it's like, so he's almost 80, he's making a film, and it's like, well, this is great.
Now he's got, even his son's making like some pretty good stuff. Like that. Possessor was pretty good.
Really good. So he's watched Anti-Revival still. I haven't watched that yet.
There's potential for him, hopefully.
Yeah. But maybe, like, Cronenberg was one of the ones I saw his films before and understood them. But that was a good director to actually learn all the filmmaking through and when I've had subtext and.
He was one I had to go back to and reevaluate and reappreciate. But now I like, even though it's like the Dead Zone is one of my favorites, even though it's more not straightforward but less weird.
I know it's more mainstream, but it's still a very good film.
Yeah.
And it's really creepy in some ways. Some of the stuff's creepy as hell in it.
Even stuff like The Brood is really good as well.
Yeah. Oliver Reed going mental.
Reed. Yeah. Oliver Reed's going to be good.
Yeah. But yeah, there's all those directors that they just do their own thing. I mean, there's certain directors I really want to get into, but I just haven't got into yet. Like, there's a reading director, Abar
Kiarostami.
Yeah, him. I need to get to him.
He's really great. Yeah.
Yeah. He's one of those directors. Is like, I'll get around to him soon.
Yeah, you know they're great. It's just whenever you get around to it, isn't it?
Yeah. It's just I think because he came out at the same time as I went into Asian directors, and I kind of went in that direction rather than that direction, really.
Yeah.
It's just having time and. Because it's that thing about a collection of a lot of films and stuff I have not yet to watch still. And you just look at your collection, sometimes thinking, I need to watch this, I need to watch this, I need to watch this.
Yeah. Shelves of it.
Yeah, it's terrible. I have a CD wallet's full of stuff as well, of stuff I bought just from disc only, from like ex-Love Films discs and stuff, which you go for £1 each or something. There's like tons of them too. Like I would be buying all the really weird stuff no one else wanted.
Yeah.
So it's like you sell them to him, he'll buy them. He's weird.
When the nuclear apocalypse happens, you'll be good in your bunker for the rest of the time with all your films.
I've been pretty good the last year during this lockdown. I've had plenty of stuff to watch.
That's the thing, you can never run out of things to watch. It's just deciding what to watch.
Yeah. And I also just fall in your bliss sometimes and knowing, I'm in the mood for this just now. I'll watch this. I'll watch that.
I've been like trying to ease like this weekend, trying to get back into film watching. I've been watching some like Richard Lester films because they're more playful and easy rather than just going straight to Bergman or whatever.
Yeah, Richard Lewis is one of those directors. When I was young, I saw a lot of his films. I didn't know who he was. It was just you put them together. Like I loved this film as young. I loved this film as young. They're like all the same director. And that's one of the first ones I thought, oh, that's what a director does. You just know the style. Like I don't know how many times I've seen the Musketeer films as a kid, just non-stop.
That's one. I'm pretty sure I've seen them, but until I've like watched some footage back, I'll be like, oh, it's that version. Yeah, that's what I've seen on TV.
Yeah, they're the best ones by a mile. And there's stuff like How I Won the War and
oh yeah, I watched that. That was that was really interesting. But
yeah, it's just like that stuff was on TV.
Yeah,
all the time when I was a kid, and when there was like nothing, it was like I'm not sure that we even noticed what they were putting on. Sometimes it's like that was on, and all of its other weirder films were on. And it's like
I watched Petulia, which was really bleak and dark. Once you
I love Petulia.
Realized, yeah, that's my favorite of the one I watched.
Yeah,
that one's
so good.
Below the surface.
Yeah, Robin and Marion's really good. I've watched it so many times. Like a depressing version of Robin Hood.
I need to see that one.
That's really good. It's all about aging. It's not about Robin Hood, it's about aging, and it's like it's Robin Hood's kind of the surface thing, but it's actually about aging.
With Sean Connery, isn't it?
Yeah. That's the first film we actually showed his age rather than trying to be Bond.
Yeah.
So that's really good. Yeah. So yeah, I think we covered the subject a little that we were going to do, and then chatting for the rest of
it. It's a film channel. We talked about films.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. This channel is like we have a research subject, and then we'll see where we go with it.
Yeah.
It's like. The thing I noticed that Ronan is in charge of it when I'm doing the podcast there. He directs it more, and I just let things happen. I'm the least directed person possible for a podcast. So thank you for coming on to this podcast and chatting with me. I think at this point, anyone watching was thinking, did he even go anywhere near the stated subject?
At the beginning.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Tell him tomorrow about the state of modern film.
Yeah, we berated Scorsese, which is always good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And talk about The Departed.
What's that?
We didn't shit on The Departed. We need to do that.
We'll berate the other people next time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So thanks for coming along and being in my podcast. It was good having you again.
Yeah.
And hopefully you'll start to do more videos with that other reprobate.
Yeah.
Later.
We got one planned, so we got one coming up.
Oh, cool. I've kind of missed them actually.
Yeah. Hopefully you'll be seeing them soon.
All right, cool. Hopefully. But well, bye for now, everybody.